Well guys, we're starting off this Tour De Fleece video with a trip in the air-conditioned car to the city because I need a new spindle. I've searched everywhere. I know I have one. Can't find it. All right guys, we are back in business. I know it's ridiculous that I cannot find my spindle, drop spindle, but we went and got a new one. Only $33, which I was actually really surprised with, and that's Canadian, so I'm pleased. We're gonna get this assembled and we're gonna get back on track. Now today should have been our challenge day, but we're getting to the end of the day and it's been a whole ordeal just to get our drop spindle. So since tomorrow is a rest day, we're gonna spin on our rest day because technically we did not spin today on the challenge day. And Alex was wonderful enough while I was out and about to card up. Look at that. That's our 100 grams of our beautiful white fiber here. So that's what we're going to be putting on the spindle. Wish me luck. Like I said, I'm not super great at it, so I'm not sure if it's going to come out nicely or not, but it'll be usable. All right, so I managed to get it started. As you know, we're working on a day off or a rest day as our challenge day. We are going to get to washing some more fleece as well this video because I'm not making as much of a dent in that pile as I would have liked to. So basically, I didn't take you through the steps because I am not good with the spindle. And that is why it is part of my challenge days, is I need to practice because it is a great thing to have when you are, traveling or things like that and you want to just be able to work a little bit easier. So let's see if we can get this going. Look, see, I got a little bit on there. So I already put my leader thread on, just tied on the bottom and looped around and through, got my fleece attached, and we are working on it. Now, one thing I do remember is why I did not like the spindle. It takes a really long time for me. I'm just not coordinated enough to get it. I find I only get like that much spun and then I have to wrap. Anyways, spindles are not for everybody, I guess, and because I started with the spinning wheel, I find it really hard to stick with this. So that is why it is a perfect thing for me to be doing on challenge day. So basically the process, and like I say, not an expert at this, but I figure I'll talk you through my process anyways. We've got it just kind of hanging as it is. Keep the extra fleece out of the way so that it doesn't get stuck in it. We're gonna spin clockwise and you're just gonna draft. And the idea is it is spinning enough that that should not come apart. It should just keep going up your roving like that. So as you can see, I've got a good bit done there. Definitely gets choppy in spots. I find that with the spindle, it tends to go a lot thinner for me. I think there's probably a trick to it that I just don't really know. But we're going to keep soldiering on. I'm going to see, I did separate out 100 grams of this fiber. Whether I can do 100 grams on a spindle, I have no idea. I may lose patience before then. But we're going to give it our best shot. Well, guys, we are having a little sit down here to recap what's kind of gone on the last couple days because I haven't done a lot of filming. It's been crazy around here. But look, the full 105 grams, got it all spun on the spindle. It did take me a whole day, so it's not something that I feel is super productive in the grand scheme of trying to get a lot finished. But it is wonderful for taking places so that you can work when you're, just out and about. You just grab a poofy, roving thing, and away you go, right? So that's where I think this is going to come really handy, and I'm glad I went and purchased another one, and I'm glad I proved to myself that I can actually spin on it. So we next have to get this off, which will be kind of interesting on the Nitty Naughty. Never tried that because I've never made it that far that I had a whole skein. So that's next. But in the meantime, the other thing that I did get done the following day, because it's been a couple days, is, let me bring it over. We have 100 grams done on the EEW spinner there. So I've got to get that off. That's that same brown that we spun earlier, but that's the whole bag done. All done. Speaking of whole bags done, that is what our project is today. We are moving on to getting some more bags emptied. Stuff that I've washed that only has maybe a skein or two left to go. And that's why I have this guy behind me This is that beautiful one that I only card once so that I don't lose those colors. And this is one done. I've got one more in the bag, and I have one of gray that I'd really like to get finished up. So we're getting behind. I think, well, you know, I'm not going to even reveal how much we have done now. You have to wait till the end. I've got one more carded, and I've got two more left to card, and then we're going to spin, 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 spin. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, plans can change. So, life on the homestead, I tell ya. Anyways, our guy who delivers wood, because we don't actually produce enough wood here on the farm for our winter needs, just sent a note saying he's bringing a load. And as you can see behind me here, I haven't put away the last load. And look at all that parsnip that I got to weed whack down first. So, guess spinning is going on hold for the moment, but we will get back to it. I know we will. But for now, I'm stuck in wood. Well, guys, we are approaching the end of Tour De Fleece, and I will admit this week has been a slow progress for me. It has been hot, and there's been so many things to do that I just haven't spun as much as I'd liked. But we're going back to that spindle because, as you can see, I'm out at the lake today. We are escaping the heat of the house and enjoying a bit of the cool lake air. So the spindle is the perfect thing for that. Now, as you know, I'm not super great at the spindle. I've never tried to take one off as a skein on my nitty naughty from the spindle. So we're going to start there. And then Alex was wonderful and carded up a whole new bat for me of a different color. So we'll be adding at least one more color to that array or rainbow before the end of the video. So there probably is some sort of tool out there for removing the yarn from the spindle. I don't know what that is, but we're on the table on the boat and there's a cup holder, and guess what? It fits on there perfectly. So I'm really hoping, as you can see there, it's just going to kind of slide off the top as I put it onto the nitty naughty, and then we're going to start spinning the next one. All right, so I know you're all sitting at home going, that wasn't gonna work. And you're right, it didn't. So we've resorted to Chris being my lazy Kate. Chris is being my lazy Kate, and we are working this way. Hopefully he doesn't get some sort of wood burn on his fingers, but it's going a lot smoother. All right, so we got that off. Trial and error to get there. I actually am really surprised at how nice I did get it spun on the spindle. So there's some bits that get a little thinner and a little thicker, but all in all, I'm super pleased with this, and I think it's just going to keep improving as I use it more and more. So on that note, let's get started on the next one. So once again, as I mentioned previously already, I'm not an expert at this. This is only my third time really using a spindle, but we've got our leader thread wound on clockwise, and we've got our little loop at the end. So we're going to get started on this. Basically feed it through. I still work from a roving, same way. I've seen people use like a whole bat and just kind of work from it. I find it easier to go from the roving, but I'm just going to hang it. We're going to spin and get some working up into that yarn. And then, as you can see, boop, look at that. See? Doesn't fall off. So that's our plan. We're going to keep going and get another one done. Well, guys, we have reached the final day of Tour De Fleece for 2025. I'm not going to keep repeating, well, I am going to keep repeating myself, but I was not as productive as I thought I was going to be. There's definitely a few things that need to get finished up today so that we can kind of do a grand reveal. But all in all, I pushed pretty hard during a really hot month here with a lot of other stuff going on. But the one thing I didn't get to was washing the fleece that I talked about earlier in this video. So last day today, it is supposed to be 42 degrees or feel like 42 degrees. So we're going to wash up that gray fleece that I talked about. It looks like a really dirty one. So I'm really curious to see how it turns out at the end. I'm sure it's going to be gorgeous. So let's get that done. And maybe we'll do a little bit of spinning as well, because that's part of what it's all about. All right, so we are in the process of washing this gorgeous gray fleece here. This is Chloe's fleece. It doesn't look like much right now, but believe me, it's going to be gorgeous. There's a little bit of hay matter in there, but I'm not too worried. I think it'll clean up just nice. So here is one that I've already had soaking for a bit, and just watch how gross this water is. Here it comes, ready. Definitely going to need a second scouring. That one's actually cool enough for my hand to go in, so it's almost ready to come out. So here you can see that fleece. That's 2 washes now. We're about to take this out and start our rinse process. It's certainly cleaned up and not that gross yellowish color anymore. So I think it's going to be beautiful. All right, so as mentioned when we were outside, today is a finishing up day. This is that skein that I started at the cottage on the boat. We did get pretty much all of it done. I just saved a little bit to show you guys here as we finished it off. Oops, I'm unwrapping when I shouldn't. But we're just gonna finish this off and then that will be one more done. I know that was for dramatic effect. I could have finished this before, but we're gonna get that done, get it off. We'll have to get Chris to be our lazy Kate again. And then I have one more project that I've got 3/4 spun, which we're gonna go through. And then we'll take a look at everything that we got achieved this 22 days. All right, so the last project that we had for today, while we're waiting for that fleece outside for washing and rinsing, is to finish this last gorgeous multicolored fleece that I had. This is the last one in the bag, and I'm super excited. This is one that I'm going to be making into a project for myself. I've got 5 skeins of it in the end, so hopefully that's enough to make something really, really good. So stay tuned for that. But we're gonna get this one all finished. Hang on. I only have that much left to go, so we're more than 3/4 done. And that is going to be it for this Tour De Fleece. It's bittersweet, but we have reached the end. I don't think there's too much more I can get done today to really bulk this out. But I am pleased. I've pushed myself probably harder than I've ever done before. I don't think I've ever spun a skein of wool a day. I didn't quite get to that. That was my goal, but I did manage to get 18 skeins done in the 22 days of the challenge. So all in all, not bad. Those are each 100-gram skeins. Now, the one thing I'm disappointed with is I still have my last skein of gray. I really did want to get that one done. I got 1 skein done, and it was my goal to empty that bag and just have a few fleece just cleaned up. Didn't happen, but that's okay. We also washed another gray, so when that's gone, we got another one ready to go. So we're just gonna keep this ball rolling, try and keep up this momentum and soldier on. I may wait until it cools off a little bit. It's been really tough spinning in this heat, but I'm now excited to really show you what we got here. I'm so pleased with, remember I talked about I wanted to get the rainbow of the natural colors. The only one I didn't get was a real dark gray. And to be honest, I flipped through the fleeces really quick and I didn't find a good dark gray, but that's okay. I will keep going and I will find it. But I think when you look at these here, that's the only color that's really, really missing. And I'm super, super happy with my art yarn. I've got another one lined up that I want to try with blues and yellows and grays. So that's going to be coming up. The other thing that I didn't really show too terribly much about was the dark. Remember at the very beginning, we washed those 2 fleeces and one was a brown and one was a dark brown, supposed to be black sheep. Anyways, I did get some spun of those and you can see here the difference in the color of the 2. This is what I mean about the shade thing, and with Icelandic sheep, you just never get the same thing twice. So all these sheep, all their fleece is gonna look different again next year. I'm going to end this here. We're going to quickly weigh these 18 skeins because I'm really curious in a pound perspective just how much we spun. I washed up 5 fleeces, did not get 5 fleeces spun, that is for sure. So I have a lot of fleece in bags again that's now at least clean. So we're going to keep going on those fleeces. They're still in the stall in the barn, so we have to clean that out. And I have one coming up that definitely is going to need the picker, so I'm going to do that as its own video. So let's get these weighed. All right. Get them all in there. Like I said, each one's 100 grams, but some of them do go over to like the 110 mark. I think one of those colored ones was actually 123. Can I get them all on there? There we go. So 1,971. Let's see what that is in pounds. Not quite 4.5 pounds. Oh my goodness, it's actually quite heavy. But there you have it. That is our work for the Tour De Fleece 2025. Hopefully next year I can achieve even more. But we're going to end this video taking a look at that gorgeous gray fleece that I just washed outside. And I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you've had a great Tour De Fleece. And I look forward to sharing more spinning adventures to come. But for now I have to get caught up on all the sheep stuff that I was supposed to do that I didn't because I was spinning.